It having reached the hour of 5:30 p.m., I am calling the May 13th, 2025 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Ricky.
Here.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Wright.
Here.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Here.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Here.
And Mayor Zwalin.
Here. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation from Jeremy Brown, chaplain from Doctors Medical Center. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to be with you for a moment, but please just join me as I offer this prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this evening. As we gather, we pause to remember your presence in our lives. We also choose to remember your faithfulness, God. You have truly blessed the city of Modesto in so many ways, but you've also entrusted us with caring for this community. So God, this evening I humbly ask that you would fill this room with your peace. Please truly guide our city leadership with your wisdom. May the compassion you've shown us shape our discussions about issues which affect the daily lives of our citizens. May integrity be infused into our actions both in this room and out in our community. God, please bless our mayor and each and every council member, our city leadership. But please also bless their families as our city leaders spend time with their families away from the important work they do here. Please give their families sweet moments of joy and rest together. God, we are grateful for your presence with us now as we devote our hearts and our minds to the opportunities you've put in front of us. I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor. Just a reminder, public comment is 3 minutes and there's speaker cards at the entrance of the chambers.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest? Councilmember Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. I will be recusing myself from items 13, 20, and 21 related to cannabis. I do not have a financial interest in any of these items. However, I have been recusing myself from all cannabis-related items due to a family member's interest in obtaining a commercial permit. I was recently informed, however, that they are no longer interested in pursuing such permit, but I will be confirming that prior to voting on these types of items. Out of an abundance of caution, I will recuse myself from the 3 items tonight until I have more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Will the city attorney please report out on closed session?
Yes, Mayor. The council met in closed session today to discuss an item related to property negotiations. No reportable action was taken.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is acknowledgements and presentations. Item 1. This is a proclamation declaring May 19th, 2025 as George Wallace Day in honor of the Modesto Fire Department's 150th anniversary. I will read the proclamation. Proclaiming May 19th, 2025 as George Wallace Day in honor of the Modesto Fire Department's 150th anniversary. It is with great pride and honor that we recognize the extraordinary achievements and unwavering dedication of the men and women of the Modesto Fire Department who have faithfully served our community for 150 years. And since its founding in 1875, the Modesto Fire Department has grown from humble beginnings to a modern, well-equipped, and highly trained department, continuously adapting to the evolving needs of our community, and has remained a cornerstone of safety, protection, and community spirit, providing exceptional fire and emergency response services. And the members of the Modesto Fire Department have consistently demonstrated courage, selflessness, and professionalism in the face of danger, preserving the lives and property of our citizens while fostering a deep sense of trust and partnership within our community. And their 150th anniversary marks not only a milestone in history, but a celebration of the enduring legacy of the department's service, including the leadership of past and present fire chiefs, and the tireless efforts of all firefighters, staff, and their families, who have given so much to ensure the safety and well-being of our residents. And we acknowledge and thank the dedicated members of the Modesto Fire Department, past and present, for their sacrifices, commitment, and unwavering service to our community, and for the impact they have had on the lives of so many. Now, therefore, I, Sue Zwallen, hereby proclaim May 19th, 2025, as the day to celebrate our fire department's 150-year history in the city of Modesto, and encourage all residents to join in celebrating this significant achievement and to recognize the profound contributions of our fire department to the safety, security, and welfare of all, dated this 13th day of May, 2025. Accepting this proclamation, we will have our Fire Chief, Kevin Wise of the Modesto Fire Department. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. On behalf of the Modesto Fire Department, I would like to extend our sincere thank you for this proclamation recognizing 150 years of service to the City of Modesto. Your acknowledgement of our history and our service to the community and the continued support means a great deal to all of us. Wow, 150 years. Can you only imagine going back 150 years?
Don't look a day over 60.
A funny story, I talked to one of our retired firefighters last week. I had lunch with him, and he told me a story I never heard before. So our fire department was formed in 1875, and he goes, actually, it was formed in 1874. So the Firefighter Association was formed in 1874. Something happened, they had a dispute, and they disbanded, and then they came back together in 1875. So just a funny story I had never heard before. Tonight with us we have some special guests that I want to recognize, and also they are pieces of our department history. So first I want to mention George Wallace. So he was our first paid fire chief. He joined the department in 1909. And he became our first paid fire chief in 1911. He retired in 1949. At one time, he was the longest serving chief in the United States at 40 years as being the fire chief of Modesto. Pretty incredible. And like traditions in the fire service, family is part of that tradition. So his son and his grandson both served the Modesto Fire Department. They both retired. His grandson is retired now and living in Arizona, because I was trying to reach out to him to see if he could be here tonight, but obviously he's in Arizona. So we have some special guests here this evening. A friend of mine who I grew up with, and we raced dirt bikes together in the 80s and the 90s, and we were fierce competitors. And when I became fire chief, he texted me and he said, "Hey, do you know my grandpa was fire chief of Modesto?" And I never knew that, never had an idea of that. So I would like to have Chief Weems, who was our second fire chief. Today I have his grandson and granddaughter here, grandson Mark Weems and granddaughter Tammy Mead, if they would come up here. So Chief Weems was our chief from 1949 to 1963. And there's some old newspaper articles, and when I mentioned his name to Chief Hughes, who's also here, I'm going to mention in a minute, he said that their grandfather was a legend. So in 1944, there was a hotel called the Modesto Hotel fire, and it was at the corner of H and 11th. I believe there's a county building there. So one of our first ladder trucks, their grandfather, who was a lieutenant at the time, and one other firefighter rescued several people off the top floor of that hotel fire many, many years ago. So it's neat to have them here tonight. And also here tonight we have Chief Hughes. He was our 7th fire chief, and his wife Patty, daughter Susie, and son-in-law Brandon, if they would come up. So I offered Chief Hughes if he wanted to say a few words.
I'd like to thank you for
Can you please speak into the microphone so that we can all hear? Welcome.
your proclamation summed it up. This is a great fire department with dedicated employees. And I'm honored to be here this evening, and I want to thank you. This is the first time I've put this uniform on since I retired 28 years ago. And much to my amazement, it still fits. Anyway, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Please stay there.
Yep. And also here this evening, we have members of our fire department. So I believe Truck 1, Engine 1, and our command staff and our administrative staff are also here.
Great.
Part of our celebration for our 150th, so this Friday we're having a promotional ceremony and our new hire academy graduation at the State Theater Friday night, and we're going to shut down the road. And we're going to bring in several fire engines, a couple of truck companies. We're going to put up our flags, and we're going to celebrate our 150th after our ceremony. So that'll be Friday night. And then also, we will be having an exhibit starting May 16th through June 22nd at the McHenry Museum. So we hope you will join us in celebrating this milestone and exploring the legacy of the Modesto Fire Department.
All right. Thank you very much. Please stay up here. Council members, do you have any remarks? Council member Escudia Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to thank everyone present and definitely men and women of the fire department. Your immense service is just up and beyond. You step up every day with courage and valor without regard for your own safety for the benefit of our community. So I'm grateful for that. And again, thank you for your service and your contribution to our community.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Jeremiah Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. And Chief Rose, outstanding. You were able to get into that suit after this many years. Are you going to be wearing that at Kiwanis on Thursday morning?
I thought about putting my pin on knowing you would be here. I guess I'll have to pay the fine.
You're exempt from many fines. But I did want to add to the festivities and the celebration of the 150-year-old Modesto Fire Department. We are really looking forward to honoring you, parading you through the streets of Modesto, where over 30 to 35,000 people will be able to say congratulations and cheer you on at the Modesto 4th of July parade put on by the Kiwanis and the City of Modesto. We are excited that you are the hometown heroes. I can't imagine any better slot for 150-year-old Modesto Fire Department to be our hometown heroes, and you have done that over and over and over again. I salute each and every one of them, or you all in your department, and I am so looking forward to seeing 80 to 90 of you out there parading yourselves and letting the city know that you are definitely proud to have been around 150 years. So congratulations, and one of our chairman, our staging chairman, Scott over there, Kevin Scott, thank you for being here for another reason, but he is in our Kiwanis Club as well, and he'll be making sure you guys get the premier spot because we are proud of the Modesto Fire Department.
Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. This July would be 14 years. We woke up one morning or one evening at about 10:30. Our alarms going off, our fire alarms in our home, and we lost our home. We had 5 engines there in our cul-de-sac, and the work that our fire department did on saving much as they could save inside the house before we lost a whole house was tremendous. And I just want to thank you for the job you do. I know it's dangerous. I know that it's can be very, very difficult for you on some of these calls that you go out to. So my hat's off to you, and thank you for the work you do.
All right. Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. I also want to really celebrate the 150 years that the fire department has been protecting this city. And you do it selflessly, with hearts of service that truly go beyond the work every day, where you're also risking, risks of cancer and the things that people don't see behind the scenes that you risk doing this job every day. I want you to know this council sees you, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to ditto the comments made tonight by my colleagues. In addition to that, I'd like to just say that, the work that you do in protecting our city is greatly appreciated, and this council recognizes the sacrifices that you do. And I also would like to say that I'd like to thank you also for letting me do some ride-alongs. It allows me the opportunity to see the monies that we budget to the fire department to actually see how those resources are used. So thank you for letting me do that. And also I'd like to acknowledge retired Battalion Chief Ken Bryant, who lives in my district and serves on my district advisory committee, and he is a valued member when it comes to issues of public safety, and gives me some real good advice and insight. So again, congratulations, and thank you for taking the time to be here tonight on this 150th anniversary.
All right, just a brief comment that the work that you do is much more than fighting fires. I do read the reports that we receive every single morning. I read them thoroughly. I appreciate those. But I do believe just this week, 5 little ducklings were rescued. There was a water rescue. There was a baby that you helped deliver into this world. Of course, multiple car crashes and just a variety of things, along with many resuscitations of people. And I appreciate your efforts. Thank you so much for taking the time to be there this evening, and I'll now bring the proclamation down.
Thank you for being here. You look good for a very 50. Yeah. I hope I feel right. 28 years after.
I will come on in and do this. Thanks again.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Good to see you guys. The family things.
Thank you, Chief.
I don't know how that makes you feel. Yeah, that's good.
Jumping on the 20th.
Okay, perfect, sounds good.
Okay,
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Good work, guys. Good work.
Next is item 2, a proclamation declaring May 17th and 18th, 2025 as Relay for Life Days. I will read the proclamation. Proclaiming May 17th and 18th, 2025 as Relay for Life Days. The American Cancer Society brings together over 4 million people at Relay for Life events worldwide to show their determination and commitment to help relieve the world from the pain and suffering of cancer. Relay for Life is driven by volunteers who work together to fund the mission of the American Cancer Society. Each year they put on an event that celebrates cancer survivors and caregivers, honors lost loved ones, and encourages those living with cancer to keep moving forward. Cancer continues to touch the lives of so many. In 2025, more than 2 million people will be newly diagnosed with cancer in the United States, or about 5,600 new cases each day. Thanks to Relay for Life, the American Cancer Society raises funds to improve the lives of people with cancer through advocacy, research, and patient support to ensure everyone has an opportunity to prevent, detect, and treat cancer. Now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, hereby proclaim May 17th and 18th, 2025 as Relay for Life Days in the City of Modesto and urge all residents to participate in Relay for Life and early detection cancer screenings, dated this 13th day of May, 2025. To accept the proclamation, we have Irene Cortez, Event Chairperson, Relay for Life for the Greater Central Valley, and also TJ Johnson, Senior Development Manager from the American Cancer Society. Please come to the podium and make a few remarks. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, and also thank you to the members of the council. 1 in 3 of us will be diagnosed with cancer in our lifetime. 1 in 3. The American Cancer Society's mission is to end cancer as we know it for everyone. We're making great progress. Through events such as Relay for Life, we raise funds that are used in large part, as Mayor mentioned, for research. We're very proud of the fact that we have funded now 52 researchers who have gone on to win the Nobel Prize for their research as it relates to cancer. Since 1991, we've invested more than $3.5 billion in support of that research. And that has helped reduce the mortality rate of cancer by more than 34%. We're very grateful to the city for recognizing our local Relay for Life event, and this event here in Modesto has raised more than $2 million over the last 32 years. So on behalf of all of us at the American Cancer Society and all of our volunteers working with us here in the Greater Central Valley, including Irene Cortez, our event chairperson, and Kevin Scott, who has been our photographer for all 32 of those years.
Wow.
We thank you very much for this proclamation, and we hope to see you all this Saturday. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Are there any remarks from council members regarding item 2? Jeremiah Williams.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I don't think I'm on. Thank you, Mayor. Testing. There we go. Thank you. My tech guy. I'm pausing because of the fact that a friend of mine that some of you all may know, who is Judge Sean Bessie, who was struggling with cancer for 5 years. And fortunately, he was a part of the organization to where he was able to still sustain his life, to watch his 5-year-old son at the time, now 10. But Bessie has gone on. He fought the fight the best way he possibly could, but because of organizations like you all, Relay for Life, and the money that are put back into this community to help so many others deal with that, those who have cancer. He passed away, but because he was able to get the source and the resources he needed from you all, he was able to sustain his life for 5 years. And I already have set a moment of silence for him, so we don't have to take that time today. But thank you for what you do for all those who experience cancer of all levels and all areas of their body, that they can at least live a little longer to enjoy life a little greater. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Escudia Brayton.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for what you do for the benefit of so many people. Grateful.
All right, thank you for being here this evening, and I will now bring down the proclamation.
Oh, I thought you wanted to be in the picture.
Oh, me? Yeah, well, Sarah can come on. I'm so surprised.
Yeah.
Jesse?
Mayor, thanks so much. You get to be in the picture, Kevin. You get to be in the picture.
It's all about Vegas. I've been doing it. I've been doing it all 32 years.
I know, they said that. That's amazing. Good.
Kelly, you want me to take your picture? You're going to be in it too, Mr. J.
So much again. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Mayor. Mr. J. Thank you.
All right, item 3 is a proclamation declaring May 18th to 24th as National Public Works Week for 2025. I will read the proclamation. Public works services are a crucial part of everyday lives for residents in the City of Modesto. They design, build, operate, and maintain our public infrastructure and also protect the health, safety, and comfort of the residents. The City of Modesto's Public Works Department provides services for our airport, traffic control systems, buildings, parking, vehicles, trees, garbage pickup, recycling, and green waste collection. These services are provided by our dedicated public works professionals who work tirelessly to keep Modesto moving. This year's theme is People, Purpose, Presence, which highlights the 3 cornerstone ideals that motivate public works professionals to serve in their communities each day. It recognizes that public works is ever present, though not always seen. Their continued work helps make Modesto a more vibrant, resilient, and thriving community. Their services provide the foundation for which we grow upon and provide us the ability to protect the environment, improve health and safety, drive economic growth, and enhance the quality of life of our residents. Now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor, do hereby proclaim May 18th through the 24th, 2025 as National Public Works Week in the City of Modesto, and call upon all residents and organizations to recognize the contributions of public works employees that support our wellness and quality of life. Dated this 13th day of May, 2025. So receiving this proclamation is Bill Sandu, our Public Works Department Director. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Bill Sandu, your Public Works Director. Your Public Works team provides infrastructure, facilities, and the services we all rely on for our health, safety, and quality of life. From maintaining our roads, sidewalks, building, airport, traffic and electrical systems, fleet, forestry, parking, and solid waste functions. And our utilities partners, our utilities team ensures that clean water and wastewater treatment happen and clean water is provided. And public works professionals are essential for our daily lives. And the team is responsible, public works team is responsible providing these services 24 hours and 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And no matter if it's rain, sunshine, or storms or anything, then you see still our members of the team working out there. So with that, I'd like to introduce City's Public Works leadership team that ensures that these quality services are provided in timely manner and with unmatched customer service. So with that, and starting from my right is Marisol. She's our airport manager. And Rosine is over all the solid waste functions. And Mike is over forestry, green waste functions. And Patrick is kind of all-rounder. He's our senior public works manager, so he's over transportation functions mainly. And Gabe is over our facilities, that's the buildings, parking. And then Max is over traffic engineering. And of course, John Spar is our streets manager. He's over our about 1,400 lane miles of streets and about 1,400 miles of sidewalk. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any comments from council members at this time? Councilmember Escudia Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all. Bill, compliments to inviting your executive team forward. When I think of your name and your department or your unit, I just visualize you as square in the org chart. But seeing you here in person and seeing your lovely faces and as an executive team, it's great to see that. And thank you and all your team. You guys have a dirty job and a hard job, and your teams are out there keeping our city streets clean and keeping us safe. Like you referenced earlier, heat, rain, or shine, they're out there. So thank you for all the work you do, and please relay that to your teams.
Thank you. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. You all represent us well, and it's our job to represent you. So thank you for everything you do.
Right. Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. I just want to thank you guys for all the things you do for our city. I know that you get, your fair share of emails from me on a weekly basis, whether it's talking about forestry or talking about roads or talking about some of the stuff with the solid waste division. I just appreciate the fact that you guys are so responsive, and when we have problems in the community can count on you. And that's what it's all about.
All right, thank you. Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. Bill, thank you again for bringing your executive team. My work with you and some members of your team have been nothing but good works, because I see what you do with the city, the integrity that you bring, specifically in dealing with service agreements and sticking with doing the right thing goes noticed. I appreciate that you do this, and I encourage you to stick to your guns. Mm-hmm. And you know what I'm talking about.
All right. I think what Councilmember Escudia Brayton said really resonated with me, that you're all here this evening. It's so great to see your faces, and really appreciate that you stayed later this evening so that we could celebrate you and express our appreciation. You have such a difficult task to maintain all that you do for our city, and you're truly appreciated. So thank you again, and I'll bring the proclamation down to present.
So I don't know where they found it. If Mike here was your personal bodyguard, or what?
I'll probably get right in there so I can go.
Thanks for putting up with me.
Thanks for putting up with me, so boy.
You too.
Thanks so much. Truly appreciate you all. Thanks. Great. All right, next is item 4. Consider accepting the resignation of Larry Sanders from the Citizens Housing and Community Development Committee. Are there any questions from council members for staff? If not, I will open this item up to the public. Any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding this item? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Any comments from council members? Councilmember Williams.
We'd like to thank him for his service to the city of Modesto.
All right, thank you very much. I have a resolution accepting the resignation of Larry Sanders from the Citizens Housing and Community Development Committee. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilmember Williams. Second by Councilmember Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
And Mayor Wallen.
Aye. Carries 7-0. Next on the agenda is public comment. As noted on the agenda, public comment will only be in person. Zoom will still be available for viewing and wordly translation. Thank you for being here tonight. The City of Modesto Council meetings are a place where everyone is encouraged to listen, share views, and participate in the decision-making process that benefits our community. Your engagement is valuable and it helps our council and city staff collaborate on finding solutions that enhance the quality of life for the residents of Modesto. To be fair and equitable, every individual has the right to speak at this council meeting. However, it is imperative that we foster and maintain a respectful environment for the well-being and safety of everyone present at these proceedings. It is the mayor's responsibility to preserve strict order and decorum at all council meetings. Pursuant to the Charter of the City of Modesto, Article 6, the Mayor, Section 601, Powers and Duties of Mayor. The mayor shall have authority to preserve order at all council meetings and to remove or cause the removal of any person from any meeting of the council for disorderly conduct, to enforce the rules of the council, and to determine the order of business under the rules of the council. Accordingly, the City Council meeting decorum rules are as follows. Please be respectful of all presenters, council members, staff, and members of the public. Please refrain from clapping other than following a presentation. All speakers are encouraged to state their name and city of residence. All questions must be directed to the mayor. Please do not block the view of others by holding signs up during council meetings. Time limits for public comment is 3 minutes, but may be limited at the discretion of the mayor to manage the business of the council. Speaking over others or interrupting while others have the floor is not permitted. Cell phones should be turned off or shall be set to vibrate during meetings. Thank you for your patience and participation as we work together to address the issues impacting the community. Maintaining order and decorum during the City Council meeting is crucial in the effective governance of Modesto and ensuring the council's decisions are reflective of the community's priorities. Anyone disrupting the council meeting may be asked to leave. Does anyone wish to speak under any item under public comment? This time period now is for items not on the council agenda, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Anyone wishing to address the City Council is asked to follow the rules of decorum. The rules of decorum are posted at the entrance of the chambers. I have several blue cards currently, and I will read them in the order that I received them. Kimberly Molina. Hi, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Kimberly Molina. I'm one of the managers for the free government phones here in Modesto. And all I need to say is that code enforcement has been honest. Like Wine Rice, I've been down to city to try to get permits. It's been impossible to meet every requirement. If I go into the city of Stockton, I pay them $200. I give them my location. I abide by what they ask me to abide by. It's that simple. I have a lot of my team members that have been cited. They're not being fair on, they're supposed to give us a warning, a $100 ticket, then a $250 ticket, then $500. I understand all that. What I'm frustrated with is my team is out there trying to make a living, and we have everything for the permit, the LLC, we have the insurance, City of Modesto business license, but the City of Modesto is making it impossible for us to make a living. We all have bills to pay, we have families to support, and most importantly, our community is in need of this. And I don't know where to move from here. So with that being said, I hope you hear me, Mayor, because I'm pleading for your guys' help.
All right, thank you. I'm going to suggest that Allison give you her card and follow up accordingly.
Okay.
Thank
you for listening.
Thank you. All right, next is Marlis Jones.
Hello, Mary. Well, I'm coming up here for the same thing. So by your comment to get a hold of Allison, I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do, is do that. So thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Next is Abraham Guzman.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm here to say I've been a resident of Modesto for over 75 years. I have volunteered in various organizations, specifically at Dryden Park, who built the golf course. Also, I was requested by Mrs. Mary Grogan at the time to be on the original City Council, on the Golf Advisory Committee, and I headed that committee on trying to find ways and means to build Creekside Golf Course. Now, one of the things that I hated to see is that we used to have a big golf tournament once a year called Spring for Cancer. And we had a lot of celebrities that came out, and I volunteered for that. I volunteer a lot of my services for the city, so I'm not making a small request. And that is that I think that any person over 90 years old should be able to have complimentary green fees at the golf course. It's been a resident of Modesto for 15 years or more. So I respectfully ask that the City Council follow the same procedure that some of the cities in in California do. So my request is that you give us some thought on giving complimentary green fees to the citizens of Modesto, 90 years old and over.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Next is Danielle Morgart.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council members. My name is Danielle Morgart from the Office of Assemblyman Juana Alanis, here to provide a Lech report. So as many of you may know, about 2 weeks ago, there was a big fight in Sacramento in regards to Assemblymember Carril's AB 379 bill. The majority in the Assembly had voted to amend and exclude in the bill the 16 and 17-year-olds from being protected from sex trafficking. While we were very frustrated and disappointed in this vote, I am very excited to share that last week, the majority of Assemblyman Alanis's colleagues did reverse that original vote. So now the original language to restore in the bill is now present. So now, as the bill has progressed through the legislature, we're hoping that this bill does get signed into law to continue to protect our kids here in the state of California. So if you have any further questions or concerns, please don't hesitate on reaching out. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is Keith Griffith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. You asked for immediate feedback when we deal with the city, and that's why I'm here tonight. The guys I really wanted to talk to and I came to see left. Yeah, the guys in blue. August 30th, Friday night, 2024, my house burned down. Those guys saved my life. I came here to say thank you. They left. But in the process of having my house burned down, I also had the opportunity to have a battle with City Hall. And yesterday, frustrated, I called the City Council office. And somebody says, it's 4:19. I don't know if I can have anybody in utility billing help you today, but somebody will call you tomorrow. Sure enough, at 8:13, somebody from City Billing called me. I was amazed. I was shocked. And they said, you need to go talk to Waste Services. I went ahead and I called Solid Waste. It was an answering machine. I'm hard of hearing. I used to work here in 10th Street Place. Some of you have known me for almost 40 years, like Mr. Williams, Mr. Bavaro, Mr. Ricky. You've known me forever. I worked for Bill Bassett at the Alliance. Remember me? Since I worked here, I came to City Hall. The people at Solid Waste, no problem. I had stopped to talk at my contractor to make sure we're covered. But your regulation 5-5.110 in reference to buildings in the city must have solid waste service. I haven't lived in my house in 8 months. Now I'm getting told I'm going to be billed again. I'm not here for myself. What the fire department didn't tell you is that one family in Modesto, on average every day, loses their house to a fire. So there are 365 other families that are going through this that don't know how to come to City Hall to get satisfaction and to talk to people. And hopefully I've got my thing worked out. But maybe we need to revisit that municipal code and see whether or not there's a way to make this easier for people to navigate. But I came here to say thank you to the City Council staff. You made things happen, and that was amazing. So here I am to say thank you and to give you feedback. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for your time.
You're welcome. Next is Steve. Excuse me.
Been a while. Wish I could say it was nice to see you. Honestly, it's not, obviously. This Saturday marks the 1-year anniversary of the passing of our friend and community member, Brittany Estrella Chavez. She came in here pleading with you for justice, or some semblance of it at least, and all she got in return was disdain over and over and over and over again. You talk about decorum. Let's talk about the time I very clearly and distinctly saw Mr. Bavaro here mouth the word stupid. A single word, a common word, is very easy to tell. You don't need a lot of practice reading lips. And you know what that sparked? It sparked a chain of events where Mr. Bavaro displayed extremely inappropriate here in this behavior here in this room over and over again, like the time that he, I tried to talk to him and he ran around the thing up into my face, which is assault. If I did that to him, I obviously would have been like detained, arrested, or tackled, or whatever, right? So we've come here begging for you to recognize Brittany's humanity and the humanity of her husband that your police murdered, Paul Chavez Jr. And it's a year later that her family, including her 3 young boys, have had to be without both their father and their mother. Brittany was extremely traumatized, and I don't care how little you give a damn, and I don't care whether legally you could be prosecuted in any way, shape, or form. She was traumatized, and that's what killed her. And guess who helped contribute to her trauma, Sue? Guess. You folks right here. I am astonished at the disrespect you have for human life. I'm astonished at the disrespect you have for democracy. I'm astonished at the disrespect you have for community involvement. And no, I'm not a coward, Sue. It's just so that Bavaro knows, okay? I would like us to take a moment of silence to honor the life of Paul Chavez Jr. and his wife, who passed away a year ago this weekend, Brittany Estrella Chavez. I have to be up very early for work in the morning, so if Mr. Bavaro doesn't mind, I'm going to go ahead and go home early so that I can get some sleep. I'm not going to be able to stay for the whole meeting tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is Teresa Clutter.
As you all know, I am Teresa Clutter. The mother of Brittany Chavez. Saturday will be a year since she's passed, and I'm here today because I just want her remembered for how hard she fought and how she was dedicated to get justice for her family, for her husband. She moved here and never expected her life would be flipped upside down, but that's what she got 3 months into Modesto. They didn't even have a chance. You didn't give them one. You know, fighting for Paul takes a toll. You know, you get exhausted from the fights, from the protests, from the councils, spreading the truth of what happened that day. My daughter was good at it. You know, she was so quiet her whole life. She never really spoke out. She never, you know, she kind of just stayed to herself and did her own thing with her family. But watching her husband be murdered by Modesto PD, Sam Muncie, and Sergio Valencia, July 14, 2022, changes you. And that's where her voice, that's where she got her voice that day. And it never stopped. And she came in here hot-headed, she came in here angry, she came in here hurt, disappointed, sad, because she was grieving, as we still are. She was grieving the loss of her husband of 12 years, somebody that she grew up with since high school, that raised 3 boys with. So I want her remembered. And I don't want you to ever forget my daughter, because she was a good girl. And she didn't deserve any of this that she was handed. And I will always fight for my son, Paul. He didn't deserve to be killed that day. He didn't deserve any of that. And you need to do better with your officers. They do need to be retrained. They need to go through more counseling. You can't just shoot people and give them their gun back after 3 weeks and put them back on the street and think that they're mentally stable to be an officer. And you need to remember that. You need to put something else in place so that they have proper training and that they don't get a 3-week paid vacation and then get to go back on the 4th after they murder your loved ones when you call for help. And I want you to look at my grandson, because he is one of the 3 that I have left of my daughter and my son. This is Paul David Chavez III. And he has to grow up without his parents. So when you look at him, I hope you see a piece of Paul and you see a piece of Brittany in him, because he is the next generation. And I need you all to do better for him and his brothers. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Is there anyone else wishing to come forward to speak this evening under public comment?
I'd like to, Mayor.
Okay.
So I just wanted to say I appreciate your guys' very hard and ongoing work to improve the safety of Modesto. I was happily able to observe the transition of I and 16th. It went from a very unsafe street to a protected street, meaning there's a hawk or safety device in place. Again, I say thank you for that project. I did want to mention this week I went down to Tully and Peril, where there is a missing safety gadget in place. There's nothing there now, but I'd like you guys to put something in place to help protect the students of Fremont Elementary School.
All right. Would you please share with Allison that location again so that we can follow up?
Absolutely, I will.
Thank you very much. All right. Anyone else that would like to speak under public comment for items not on tonight's agenda? All right. Next on the agenda is consent items. An item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or council member. Is there anyone on the council that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? Seeing none, is there anyone in the public that would like an item removed from consent for further discussion or comment? Oh, Kevin, please step forward.
It's items 6 and 12. Thank you.
All right, would you like those pulled for discussion, or did you just want to comment on them?
I have questions about them.
Okay, all right, thank you. We'll do that. Will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Item 5, consider approving the minutes for the May 6, 2025 council meeting. Item 6 was removed from consent. Item 7, consider approving the third amendment with CGI Technology and Solutions Incorporated for the software as a service agreement for the City of Modesto CGI Advantage Budget Software, increasing the total agreement amount by $60,500. Item 8, consider and review the draft budget as submitted by the city manager with the mayor's final budget modifications and combining the documents into the proposed budget for the fiscal year 2025, 2026, and noticing a public hearing to be held on June 3rd, 2025 for the council's consideration and adoption of the fiscal year 2025, 2026 proposed budget and related actions. Item 9, consider approving the recommended budget adjustments to the fiscal year 2024, 2025 annual operating and CIP budgets. Item 10, consider a cooperative agreement with Caltrans for the project approval and environmental document phase of the Bridgemore Avenue at State Route 99. Item 11, consider accepting a river trunk realignment gravity system project rebid as complete, releasing securities, releasing payments totaling $22,185,635 to Ranger Pipeline Incorporated of San Francisco and authorizing the city clerk to file a notice of completion. Item 12 is removed from consent. Item 13 removed from consent for a separate vote. Item 14, consider accepting an informational report on the January and February 2025 grant applications and awards. Item 15, consider accepting an informational report for the March 2025 accounts payable payment register and void report. Item 16, consider amending the Culture Commission bylaws. Item 17, consider approving a service agreement with Trinity Rivard at Tampa, Florida for the installation of the 150th anniversary mural in the amount of $25,000.
All right. May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Motion.
Moved by Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwollen.
Aye. Carries 7-0. So we will now go back to item 6. Consider approving final adoption of ordinance 3794-CS, approving the Modesto Police Department's military equipment use policy, Policy 710, in accordance with California Assembly Bill 481, and approving the purchase of additional equipment that qualifies as military equipment in fiscal year 2025-26, and rescinding ordinance number 3782-CS. And we have our police chief, Brandon Gillespie. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. So this item is just, as it states, approving the ordinance. This item was presented to the Safety and Communities Committee prior, and then at the last council meeting was also on the agenda for the council, which voted to pass this. So this approves the new ordinance and rescinds the old ordinances, and this is an annual thing that we're required to come before council every year. So this will happen every year that we rescind an ordinance and ask for approval of the new ordinance. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Does council have any questions of staff regarding item 6? Seeing none, I'll open this up to the public. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding this item?
So I would like to know what exactly is the military equipment that is being purchased, and under what conditions and against whom would this military equipment be utilized? I'm just having a difficult time understanding what kind of conditions would have to be prevalent in a municipality in order for military equipment to have to be utilized, as opposed to the equipment that the police department already has. So I'm concerned about what kind of an incident are we talking about? Are we anticipating riots? If we are anticipating riots, what kind of interventions are we thinking about with respect to that, the riot, other than utilizing military equipment? And are we going to utilize those other interventions before we get to the point of utilizing military equipment? Or is the utilization of the military equipment going to be the first thing that we do? So I'm very concerned about all of this, because it seems to me that we are becoming much more militaristic as a nation right now. President Trump is going to display America's military in a parade on his birthday, and that's never been done before. So it seems to me that we are becoming more of a militaristic country, and I'm concerned that perhaps the utilization of military equipment is going to become a first intervention rather than a last resort. So These are all my questions with respect to this. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. And I know Chief Gillespie can answer that, but there is an exhaustive list, and there was also an open house where all the equipment was on display for the public to participate in an open house format, so it's a very open process. But Chief Gillespie, if you'd like to respond to that.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, and appreciate the questions. And just a real brief response in the fact that it's really, the term military equipment, in my opinion, is kind of a misnomer. This is equipment that law enforcement has used for decades and decades, and that the California legislature several years ago had deemed, it passed AB 481, that deemed certain types of equipment military equipment. Majority of the equipment is not things that we get from the military. An example of that is drones. We use drones for multiple different uses. We use drones to search for missing persons. We use drones for perimeters when we're looking for suspects and things like that. But under 481, anytime that we purchase a drone, it's considered military equipment. And this is a drone that you could go and buy at Best Buy or any electronic store around. So, and just to answer a few other questions, often when we talk about military equipment or as part of this list, there's a lot of less lethal munitions that we use, like beanbags, for beanbag shotguns, tear gas, things like that. So again, I think military equipment, the name itself is a little bit of a misnomer and leads people to believe it's actual military equipment that we get from the military. While there could be that, majority of what we have is not gained from the military. This is purchased and things that we have used for years. It's now just, like I said, California legislature requires us to come forward, make sure that in an open and transparent way, we're accounting for the equipment that we use to handle a variety of situations that we deal with on a regular annual basis. Make sure that the public has opportunity to comment, and Mayor, like you said, even come and check out all the equipment that we have, our command post, our armored vehicle that's used for a whole bunch of different scenarios to protect our citizens, and make sure that, and then we come before the council and make sure that we pass the ordinance and ask for approval for any equipment that is deemed under 481. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Are there any other members of the public that would like to comment on item 6, consent item 6? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Are there any comments from council members at this time? All right, seeing none, I need a motion approving final adoption of ordinance 3794 CS approving the Modesto Police Department's military equipment use policy, policy 710, in accordance with California Assembly Bill 481, and approving the purchase of additional equipment that qualifies as military equipment in fiscal year 2025-26 and rescinding ordinance number 3782 CS. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Wright.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Ricky. And will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. So it carries 7-0. Next is consent item 12, correct? 12. Consider approving the plans and specifications for the 2024 park security lighting project, accepting the bid and awarding a construction contract to Modesto Executive Electric Incorporated of Modesto, California in the amount not to exceed $781,195. And we will have our Director of Engineering, Toby Wells. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. The item before you this evening is accepting the bids for the project. There's park security lighting, so this project will install, will replace existing security lighting with motion sensors, lighting and LED lighting in 3 parks, James Marshall Park, Robertson Road Park, and Chrysler Park. Those improvements were identified as part of the Measure H funding plan for deferred maintenance, and those improvements would be constructed this summer as part of the award of a publicly bid process. Project costs around $781,000. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions from council members regarding item 12? Seeing none, comments from the public.
Okay.
Okay, I guess I'm having a hard time understanding how light bulbs for, well, I did not know that it included motion sensors, but I mean, still, nevertheless, I don't understand how lighting and motion sensors for 3 parks could cost almost $800,000. So I mean, I know light bulbs are expensive now, but I mean, I don't think they're that expensive. I mean, I don't know how much a motion sensor costs, but I know that you can put them around your house, and maybe for under $500 you can get several light bulbs and put in motion with motion sensors and put them around your house. I'm just how does it become a $781,000 bill? I don't follow that. I just don't understand the logic of. You know, you hear about stories about a toilet seat in the military costing $800. Are we being built because we're government? Is that what's happening here? Is the city being built because it's government? Or is this a legitimate cost? Is what I'm really wondering.
All right, sure.
As I referenced, the project was competitively bid. We did receive 6 bids for the project, a very competitive process. The agenda report, as I've mentioned, is a high-level overview, but the details of the actual construction is new conduits, new bases, meaning new foundations for each of those lights. Every aspect of that is brought to current codes. Those light poles are taller than the existing to prevent vandalism. So all of those factors, for example, just the demolition of the existing is $35,000. I know for most of us who think, well, that would never cost that at my own house. But you have to recognize these are, contractors with specialized equipment, specialized workers, all trained. All of that costs money, and unfortunately, this isn't just the nature of us being built as a government entity. This is the cost of doing business in a public entity to make sure that we are built to all current building codes and standards to ensure that these facilities last the test of time. And it ultimately is more expensive today than it was yesterday, but unfortunately, it will be more expensive in the future. So doing it now, is the cost that it takes to provide high quality infrastructure for our community.
Okay, so this is the entire structure for
Correct.
Okay.
For example, indicated in the agenda report, you're listing bid items such as, you have construction fencing, the conduit, the lights themselves, the light poles, the bases. You have to put in electrical boxes to connect it. It's all of those items to complete the work.
All right. Thank you very much. Any other questions from the public regarding item 12? Seeing none, I will open it up to comments from council members. Any comments? Seeing none, I have 2 resolutions that I'm going to read. Resolution approving the plans and specifications for the 2024 Park Security Lighting Project, accepting the bid and awarding a construction contract to Modesto Executive Electrical Incorporated of Modesto, California in the amount of $697,495, authorizing $83,700 for contingency if needed, for a total payment amount not to exceed $781,195, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. A resolution amending the fiscal year 2024-25 capital improvement program budget to fund project number 101518, preventative maintenance measure H. Project number 101517, deferred maintenance measure H. And project number 101602, 2425, preventative maintenance measure H, in an amount not to exceed $208,844 in transfers, revenue, and to budget expenditures to fund the project, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to implement the provisions of this resolution. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Wright.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. I just will mention at this time that if any member of the public has specific questions regarding these items, they are outlined in great detail in the agendas if you'd like to research those. And if or else you can email me at szwahlen@modestogov.com, and we will get you the answers that you need by emailing me personally. Thank you very much. Next is consent item 13. Consider amending the annual commercial cannabis permit fees and application fee for operational and non-operational approved cannabis businesses, reestablishing the cannabis application permit fee as a refundable deposit and adopting the commercial cannabis business modification request deposits for changes in ownership and location.
And this is just for voting, Mayor. There's no discussion because it's on the consent calendar.
Okay.
It's pulled for separate vote.
All right. So I have, so I can just read the three resolutions and they can all be voted on at once?
Yes.
All right, so bear with me. Three resolutions. A resolution adopting an amendment to the annual commercial cannabis permit fee for city-approved business, approving the operational annual commercial cannabis permit fee with an annual cost of $22,821 and the non-operational annual commercial cannabis permit fee with an annual cost of $3,991. A resolution approving an amendment to the commercial cannabis permit application fee, adjusting the fee to a $6,380 refundable deposit, and a resolution adopting commercial cannabis business modification request deposits in the amount of $2,000 for changes in ownership and $5,000 for changes in location. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. And will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. So the motion carries 6-0. Thank you.
With one recusal.
With one recusal. Councilmember Alvarez.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is council comments and reports. Are there any council members that have reports at this time? Comments? Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. I have three comments to make. For the gentleman on the mention about golfing who lives in my district, I met with you along with the Director of Parks and Recreation, and the process after talking with the city managers, that item would actually have to go to the golfing committee before it comes to the council, as I understand it. So that is being looked at as we speak. That's number one. Number two, last Wednesday, Mayor Zwallen, City Manager Lopez, and I attended the annual Stanislaus County Peace Officers Memorial at Lakewood Ceremonies in Houston. In Stanislaus County, 20 law enforcement officers over the years lost their lives protecting and serving our communities. The 20 officers were fathers, husbands, brothers, and sons. They are deputies, officers, corporals, and sergeants. They were our neighbors, they were our friends. One word fits them all: hero. Not because of how they died, but because how they lived. When a law enforcement officer is killed, it not only impacts the agency or department, it also affects the community and it affects our nation. In 2024, there were 165 law enforcement officers in the United States who gave the ultimate sacrifice, their lives. Yesterday, Governor Newsom released a model ordinance for the city and counties to immediately implement dangerous and unhealthy encampments and connect people experiencing homelessness with shelters and services, backed in part by the $3.3 billion in new Prop 1 funding. The governor is calling on local governments to act without delay and to use their authority affirmed by the U.S. Supreme Court to address these encampments. Clearly, our homeless encampments on public property, in our sidewalks, in our parks, will not work based on what the governor is saying, because people who are in these encampments have nowhere to go. Not all homeless people that we see in these encampments are seeking services or shelter for a multitude of reasons. My suggestion to the governor, if he really is serious about getting people off our streets, number one, he should, in my opinion, have his departments contact all 58 counties in California, and to be able to identify, and maybe your office can look into this, be able to identify state properties that may be available where we can send homeless people who are living in our encampments to go, because they have nowhere to go. Have the county sheriff be able to administer and make sure that these safe places are indeed going to be safe for the homeless people. And secondly, my last point on this, if the governor is really serious about dealing with these issues, he may want to take a look at opening state mental facilities that we saw in the 60s, to be able to get the mentally ill off our streets into a facility sponsored by the state, to give them shelter, water, and food, and be able to meet their needs and give them the care they need. Homeless people are on our streets that have mental illness, are there because they, again, have nowhere to go and they have no treatment. In Modesto, we're doing great things with dealing with the homeless and trying to manage the problem. And for the governor to come out and speak as he did is, in my opinion, not the correct way to go. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to express my sincere condolences to the services that took place this week that I was not able to attend for our Peace Officers Association. However, I was in the city of Aguascalientes, Mexico. We have several cities in the world that are sister cities, and one of them is Aguascalientes, Mexico. I was joined by our Sister Cities Committee, Bob, Mary, Glenn, Vicky, and of course my wife went with me. We were able to continue the relationship with Aguascalientes in Mexico. That city has 1.3 million people. We were able to go to their workshops where they talked about websites, web design for their people to help them be able to navigate through all the services in the city. We were able to talk, they were able to bring the chief of police, who actually has 100,000 officers that oversee that particular area, and that is sworn and non-sworn, as well as administration, which is a lot of officers, Chief. Also, they talked also in the workshop about their water and how they administer their water, distribute their water, preserve their water. It was well done. I'd like to thank the mayor of that city, which was Leonardo Metasinus. I might have said it wrong, but he was very gracious with his hospitality. We were there for 3 days, and they had and still have a a fair, a citywide fair that in 3 weeks will have 7 million people coming to it. There, you would think, how could that even be possible? Well, I'll just tell you a little bit that those who were a little bit more inebriated and had to be arrested that evening could only get out if they cleaned the city. So that's just one part of it. But beyond that, it was a great trip for us to fortify our relationships with the sister cities, and I appreciate the fact that I was able to go and represent the city of Modesto. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. Viva, right, Jeremiah?
Viva. Viva la Modesto.
While some of our local cities are turning their backs on their responsibility to get homeless off the streets, I'm excited about the opening of Modesto's Jenny's Place at the old Travelers Lodge in the next couple of months. The project provides 38 studio apartments for homeless young adults and an additional 15 studio apartments for homeless adults. I want to thank Jessica Hill and her staff for working with the state to get the $17 million grant to get this housing ready and to continue our goal here at the City of Modesto to improve homelessness in our city. I'm excited about the feasibility study for the Modesto Airport in the upcoming budget. There's a lot of interest in the community about the possibility of bringing flights back, and this is a great first step to explore the possibilities and hopefully get us back in the air, just like our neighbors in Merced and Stockton. I was pleased to attend the Modesto Police Department's awards dinner at Modesto Center Plaza with Councilmembers Bavaro Wright and Escutia Brayton. I'm proud of MPD's hard work reducing car theft, reducing DUIs, reducing property crime, and so much more. It was also fantastic to see the work of our SkyOne air crews acknowledged. Finally, I want to thank my friend Eric Johnson for helping me celebrate May 13th, or 13 de Mayo. I'd like to take a moment and say, I also hope, Eric, that you have a fabulous May 14th or 15 de Mayo.
14 de Mayo.
14 de Mayo, I mean. There you go. You know what I meant. Thanks, Mayor.
You're welcome. Next is Councilmember Rosa Escutia Brayton.
A for effort, Councilmember Ricky.
I'll take it.
On that same vein, I'd like to compliment Councilmember Williams for correctly pronouncing Aguascalientes. That's not an easy Mexican city to pronounce. You did it well.
Gracias.
Yeah.
And they let him back in.
So as Councilmember Ricky indicated, I also was very privileged this last week to attend the Modesto Police Department's 25th annual awards dinner, where we celebrated and recognized the bravery and the valor and the integrity of many of our police officers, especially those that have gone truly up and beyond their call of duty, as many of them have, and they were recognized and bestowed the various awards in the area of meritorious service, Officer of the Year, Police Leadership, as well as Distinguished Service Medals. So that was a lovely recognition. I was honored to have been accompanied by several members of the council to that dinner. Additionally, today, Councilmember Williams and I had a tour of the Golden Valley Health Center clinics on the west side. It's an amazing facility that provides medical services to over 160,000 of our community members in Central Valley. What was so impressive about this facility is the myriad of health services that they've provided, the very diverse in nature. They provide sports medicine, optometry, adult, pediatric, geriatric medical services. They also have urgent care, and that's a modality that's normally a standalone health benefit or a health service that's normally not attached to another health facility. Theirs is, so I thought that was very unique and beneficial to the community. And they also had, what was interesting was a food pharmacy. I had never heard of that before. And basically, they provide food, non-perishable food items to their patients experiencing food insecurity, and very ample, generous bags filled with non-perishable food. So I thought that was a service that was really unique and very cool that they did. So that's it. Thank you very much.
All right, Councilmember Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to be brief tonight. I just want to let folks know tomorrow, May 14th, doors open at 5:30 at the King Kennedy Center, close out at 8 p.m. The Modesto Police Department and District 2 are hosting a community forum, and we would like to invite community members to participate in this excellent opportunity to gather, ask questions, and discuss issues that are most pressing to the District 2 community. Whether it's a question or concern or suggestions, or you folks simply want to engage with local leaders and stakeholders, participation is vital. So that's tomorrow, Wednesday, May 14th at the King Kennedy Center from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. A brief report from me. Things were already mentioned that I attended, but another was the grand opening of the Center for Human Services Youth and Family Behavioral Health Center, which is noteworthy in light of the many discussions that you've heard from the public tonight, as well as council members, that this is where issues in people suffering from mental illness or those that need support proactively receive it, so that hopefully they will be treated and not end up in a situation that becomes then much more serious down the road. So that was really exciting. They will treat thousands of people there every year. It's beautiful, large, and will be a great asset to our community. I attended the Stanislaus Medical Society Physician of the Year event where Dr. Letter received this award. I remember the day that he arrived here in Modesto over 40 years ago. He is a cardiologist, and he was the first physician to do a cardiac stent in Modesto, but it was also the first community hospital in the entire United States of America where this occurred. And this also is something that ties into our recognition with our firefighters. When we call 911, we receive the treatment here that people need that literally saves lives every single moment of every day. So I wanted to again recognize Dr. Letter for his decades of service and all that he has done for our community, as well as his cardiac group. Any other comments at this time from council members? Seeing none, does the city manager have any comments and reports? All right, none. Next on the agenda is hearings, item 18. A hearing to consider a proposed amendment to the Modesto Urban Area General Plan, Specific Plan Amendment Number 4 to the Tivoli Specific Plan, and exceptions from the Tivoli Specific Plan's development and design standards for the Martin property, NRB Investments LLC. And giving our staff report is Jessica Hill, our Community and Economic Development Director. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. So a little bit of background. In the City of Modesto, our land use is outlined in our general plan, in specific plans, and in our zoning code. And so when a change to the land is requested, it requires different levels of approval based on what plans we're looking to update. So for this specific project, NRB Investment submitted an application to develop the just under 20-acre property in the Tivoli specific plan, which was looking to update our general plan, specific plan, and our zoning code. So for a little bit of background, it is within our overall Tivoli specific plan, which totals 454 acres. This Tivoli specific plan was adopted in 2008 and is bounded by Clarentina, Sylvan, Oakdale, and Roselle. The project's outlined in blue on the map above and is on Oakdale Road directly south of Maple Avenue. The project proposed today is 185 single-family homes and 11 landscape lots. And so we're looking to change the zoning from various other zonings to a medium-density residential. So the first zoning change and first document we're looking to update and amend is our general plan. And so currently our general plan is split between both regional commercial and residential. And the proposal in front of you today is to change the regional commercial of the 12.66 acres to residential in order to ensure our general plan is consistent with the project that we are proposing. And so you can see we're changing it from that pink over to the yellow overall. The second thing is when we look at our Tivoli specific plan, and you can see there's 3 different colors in that yellow outlined block above. The current zoning under this project is very low density residential, medium high density residential, and regional serving commercial. What we're looking to do is change just the bottom 2 portions, which is the medium high density residential and the regional serving commercial, all to medium density residential. You can see the little area on the top that will still stay very low density residential as it is adjacent to the Maple Street. These are some design renderings of what we're looking to build in that general area. The homes range from 1,300 square feet up to 2,200 square feet. It is a model that's not currently in Modesto. It's a smaller home. It also aligns with some other developments that we have around Modesto, including the Claus and Briggsmore development, as well as the Bangs American that were recently approved. There's a couple exceptions that we're looking for today within our specific plan to accommodate this size of house. And so we're looking to reduce the minimum yard setbacks from 12 feet to 5 feet, the rear yard setbacks from 15 feet to 10 feet, and then some of the minimum lot sizes on corner lots reduced from 3,000 feet to 2,460 feet. So as part of the review for this process, we prepared an initial study, and it outlined in the initial study certain items that needed to be mitigated. And so some of those are due to the noise on Oakdale Road. The developer has agreed to these improvements and they've been added to the project, and therefore the project will overall align with our CEQA determination. On April 7th, this project went to the Planning Commission and they recommended approval with a vote of 6-0 to forward to council. I have 2 different staff recommendations for you today in regarding to the change to the general plan and the specific plan amendment, and with that I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions from council members? Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. Do you know what the price range will be for these homes?
So the homes do range, and the price will be based on kind of market conditions. They're assuming right around $500,000.
All right, Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Jessica, on Oakdale, that feeder street where there's, if you go back to the map where, keep going, right there.
Mm-hmm.
So is Oakdale going to be widened at that point? You see where they're coming off into Oakdale Road?
Correct. So Oakdale Road, I
There's a
believe
setback.
right now is 1 lane each direction. It will be widened into 2 lanes each
Okay,
direction, and
good.
then we are working very closely with them to accommodate the traffic controls needed for that intersection as well.
And there is a light at the end of Maple, right? Isn't there a signal light there?
Yes.
On Maple? Okay,
Yes.
perfect. All right. And no mediums, just going to widen the street and that's it?
So they are going to look at widening it, and then we'll have to look at every entry exit of where the medians will need to be accommodated to accommodate the increase in traffic there.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Yeah, I had one more
All right.
question. To control the traffic, are you looking at roundabouts in this area or no?
So overall, we did a traffic study on Oakdale Road. We're still working on the full traffic study because Oakdale had originally been anticipated to be a full 6-lane road. There are some recommendations that staff's still reviewing to see if the traffic control would be a roundabout or a signal, but we're still going through that study.
But it's not going to delay this project?
No, it will not.
All right, any other questions from council members? Seeing no questions at this time, I will now open the public hearing. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding item 18? All right, this is for 19. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'm not sure.
I travel up and down Oakdale Road as I have for about 50 years, and see it's getting exceedingly difficult to go from, say, Scenic Drive going over to Clarabelle. And the way I see it, the plan goes through, you're really adding like another 1,000 cars on the road just from that one intersection going in. I don't think it's in the public interest to have something like this being approved. My question is, if they're going to widen the roads, who's going to pay for the road widening? Also, has there been a study done on the traffic on that particular road? I don't think it's in the public interest at this time to proceed and approve something like this.
All right, thank you. And Jessica can address your concern.
So this area and this parcel is within the Tivoli specific plan. And so the Tivoli specific plan was approved in 2008. And at that time, we reviewed all of the planned development there and anticipated all the needed facilities for that development. And so with that, there was some widening costs that were determined that would be needed, or some overall infrastructure needs for this area. And so what we did is we formed a community facilities district, and this community facilities district is actually going to be paid for when the development occurs in Tivoli. And so the property owners, once they sell developers and start building, they will be responsible for paying for their fair share of infrastructure. The same thing with the study. And so for this specific project, there was a traffic study that was done in order to ensure that we had the proper infrastructure completed associated with it and the proper traffic controls.
All right, thank you. Any other members of the public regarding item 18? Hi there.
Hi. Good evening, Mayor Zawalin, Vice Mayor Bavaro, and council members. My name is Rebecca Spear. I have lived in Stanislaus County 74 years, and in Modesto the last 60 years, and the last 38 years I've lived on Maple Avenue. If I can ask Ms. Hill if she could put the map up that shows our 8 homes on East Maple Avenue. Thank you. And we have our neighbors here. We are a cohesive group of neighbors and have been for many years. Although we would prefer there be no development around our homes, we've come to the sad realization that wish is no longer viable. We are all ranchettes. We live on ranchettes. We have been on Maple, I believe, I want to say 50 years, the first few homes that were built. 18 years ago, as a cohesive group of neighbors, we fought an almost 3-year legal battle to have the Tivoli plan mitigate the impact to our 8 homes. I happen to live with my husband in the 6th house from Oakdale Road. We raised our children there. They're now 43 and 40. So we also, including no through traffic, which is a discussion for another night, by the way. We believe the Basin Park that is behind the first 4 homes closest to Oakdale Road meets a level of protection that is acceptable to have that park behind those first 4 homes. Having said that, it's our expectation that the same level of protection as indicated in the Tivoli plan is afforded to the remaining 4 homes on our street. Although that's also another discussion that's going to happen another night, we have seen the preliminary plans that we will not accept. And again, you don't know what that is. We know what it is because it was presented to us by the developer, and we are do not feel that meets our level of expectation when it comes to protecting our homes. We do not feel that we should have to fight the city to protect homes that have been there for 50 years. And they're putting all of these homes behind 8 ranchettes that have existed there for decades. And it affects our quality of life. For instance, if there's a home that's built behind my home that's 2 stories high, they will have full vision of our backyard and into our home without any protection. I just want that to be acknowledged at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that would like to speak regarding this item, item 18? Please come to the microphone.
I just have one quick comment or question about concerns about the building process. Are you guys ripping out orchard or farmland in the process? What's the thoughts on that?
All right, Jessica, can you address that?
So I do believe it's open land right now, and so they will be building these new single-family homes on that open land.
All right, thank you. Any other comments from the public? Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Dave Romano on behalf of the applicant. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. I'm joined by the president of Florsheim Homes, Randy Bling, and their director of construction, John Pranitis. If you have any questions for us, we'll do our best to answer them. This has been to the Planning Commission. They recommended approval. We want to thank your staff for their work on this project. We want to thank our neighbors for their time. We had an opportunity to meet with our Mabel neighbors, and as they've mentioned, they're supportive of this project. It meets their specific needs. They asked for a block wall behind them between the parks. Florsheim Homes agreed to put that in the conditions, so that's in the conditions of approval. Just a little bit about the product. What we call the Tempo is very similar to a product that Florsheim's been building in Modesto for a while that was called the Metro. You'll see that north of Vintage Fair Mall. You'll see that just east of the Rayleigh Shopping Center in Village 1. Some of that was built in Founders Point East. It's been a very successful product. The newer product is the Prima product. That was built in Turlock and was extremely successful. It's a smaller product on a smaller lot. It gives us the ability to offer another product, maybe a $50,000 to $100,000 cheaper than that initial Metro product, which Jessica mentioned would be in about the $500,000 range starting out. So it gives us a chance to have two products, one that's been very successful here and one that we're introducing to this community we're very excited about. So with that said, we hope the council sees its way to grant us an approval for this project. Florsheim Homes is ready to get started. So this is a project that they've been waiting for. They have improvement plans prepared and submitted, so they're ready to get checked, and this is a project that will move forward as quickly as we can. So thank you, Mayor and Council.
You're welcome.
Mayor, can I clarify something? I know I already spoke, but can I have that 10 seconds?
All right, I have you down for item 19 also, so maybe it's more, does it apply more to that? No?
I'll wait.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor Bavaro had a clarifying question.
Thank you, Mayor. Are those ranchettes in the city or the county? In the city? Okay, and number two, for the construction, and maybe Dave can answer this, butting up against the ranchettes, is there some way to, are they going to have two-story homes in that area looking into the neighbors, or are they going to be single-story?
I'm going to show you just the screen above. So if you can see the dotted lines around that square, that's the proposed property. The property's directly to the north of the properties over on Mabel, that they're the ranchettes. And so I'm going to go back here. And so you see where we have the homes. If you can see that open space there, thanks Scotty with your cursor, that's actually going to be our open space basin, and so there's going to be no homes directly adjacent to their properties.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Councilmember Williams.
Jessica, so that is city, but is there curb and gutter on Maple on that side?
So this was an area that was annexed into the city around 2008, and with that, part of the improvements that are identified in the facilities master plan and the CFD is to ensure that we have full improvements over for Maple as well.
So there will be curb and gutter?
So there will be, yes.
Okay, so there's an improvement to that Maple area in front of their homes?
There will be once we work on the neighboring parcels that develop and we find the correct entry exit for Maple in the future. You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Any other comments from the public regarding item 18? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Any comments from council members? Seeing none, I have two resolutions that will require separate votes. First, a resolution amending the Modesto Urban Area General Plan to amend the land use element to change 12.66 acres from regional commercial uses to residential uses.
So moved.
Motion by Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Escudia Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll for this resolution?
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudetto Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwollen.
Aye, so it carries 7-0. Next resolution, approving specific plan amendment number 4 to the Tivoli specific plan and exceptions to the design standards for reduced setbacks and lot sizes for lots. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Ricky.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Bavaro. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudetto Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez. And Mayor Zwollen.
Aye, carries 7-0. Thank you very much. Next is item 19, a hearing to consider the adoption of a proposed development agreement between the City of Modesto and Dasco Olivewood LLC regarding area plan number 6 of the Tivoli specific plan. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. And so this is another development within our Tivoli specific plan. So as a reminder, Tivoli is bounded by Oakdale, Clarentina, Sylvan, and Roselle. So the city received an application for vesting subdivision map of 9.41 acres to convert into 74 residential lots. And you can see the property, which is right on Roselle, that's outlined in blue. So in addition to the subdivision map, the applicants also applied for a development agreement for the project. And so the agreement outlines the responsibilities and timelines for infrastructure improvements, including a roundabout at McReynolds Avenue for the future Collector Street C. The agreement also allows the tentative map to be valid for a period of 10 years. Traditional maps are valid for a 2-year period of time and can be extended for additional times for a total of 6 years. So those are the two parts for the development agreement. So here is a rendering of the Olivewood subdivision. Again, it's 74 residential lots. It also includes 17 landscape and paseo lots. They are planning an HOA to manage the common areas, and the main entry to the development will be the south portion off of Street C. And they'll be extending Street C from McReynolds to Roselle, and then you can see the outlined future roundabouts on McReynolds and Street C that they will be required to complete as a condition of this development. So the development overall outlines the responsibilities and timelines over this 10-year schedule. It provides for the dedication and installation of the roundabout. The roundabout design will have a review by our city engineer prior to the recordation of the final map, and the installations required before the issuance of the 65th building permit. We're looking for opportunities, if needed, for an interim intersection control, which could be a 3-way stop, and then all development agreements are required to go to City Council for formal approval. So when we referred this project out, we ensured that we had free feedback from the Modesto Irrigation District regarding the irrigation facilities, and so those are being rerouted to accommodate this development. The roadway dedications and improvements are a condition of the project, as well as the sewer, water, and storm drain conditions are applied to our project as well. So staff prepared 2 initial studies for the project, both for the tentative subdivision map as well as the development agreement, and both were adequately addressed within the context of the Tivoli specific plan final EIR. So staff recommendation before you today is to the motion introducing and waiving the reading of the ordinance for the development agreement itself, and then the approval of the applicable CEQA EIR finding of performance. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions from council members regarding item 19? Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Is this going to be a gated community? Since they have one entrance into the complex?
So at this time, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Jessica, on McReynolds, Isn't there the Sylvan Club right there on that same street? Is that the Sylvan Club?
No, the Sylvan Club's off of Aria, so
Off of Aria, okay.
it's to the west.
Okay, so that particular building that's there now, across from that, what is that?
So that's an existing home that is going to not be part of the tentative map, and so the map above is accommodating to still have that home there while they're proposing 74 additional units.
All right, is any of their property being tapped on or touched before curb and gutter two for that street? Or is that street going to be a one lane? Because it's not really a street now, is it?
McReynolds?
Yes.
So McReynolds, they're going to be required to develop a part width street plus 10 additional feet to ensure that at least their side of the street is built completely to city standards.
Does it cut into the other, across the street with that one parcel?
The properties, so
On Reynolds?
on McReynolds?
Yes.
And so
McReynolds.
the properties to, the other properties on the other side is adjacent to the Snow property, was actually in development now. And so we have the proper right of way that we need in order to develop both sides of McReynolds at that portion and to accommodate the roundabout. On the Roselle side, when you're concerned about that home itself, there will be right of way needed for that home in the future to build out Roselle. It is not needed at this time and is not a condition of this project.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other council members have questions? Seeing none, I'll now open the public hearing. If there's any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding this item, and I do have a blue card for Rebecca Spear.
We're very well aware of that project because it's immediately east of us, and it has been difficult to watch, actually. I want to clarify a few things. First of all, Ms. Hill said it was open space behind us, which actually it's an almond orchard. I usually say almond, but I'll be proper in this forum. And a cornfield. And in front of us is an almond orchard, a vineyard, and a cornfield north of us on our 8 homes. So just know that what we're giving up is farmland when you approve these types of projects. So don't think it's an open pasture that nobody uses, because that's not true. The block wall mentioned that Mr. Romano mentioned only protects the first 4 homes. We've seen, what's the word I want? Plans that they are proposed plans where that is not accorded to the other 4 homes on our street. I want that to be clear. And yes, the improvement, as the city sees an improvement, a gutter on our side of Mabel, which we do not have now, we did not even want that. What the city wanted to do 18 years ago when we fought this was put a sidewalk and take half of our yard. Some of the houses sit back from the road. There are 4 of our houses that sit close to the road. They were literally going to take half of our yard in order to put in a sidewalk. We acquiesced to a gutter on our side and no development south of that road into our properties. I believe that's all I wanted to say, but I wanted to clarify the block wall, and it sounded like he was saying the block wall extended behind all of our homes. Not true. First 4 homes only, and as not being proposed in our home. We had the meeting in our home with Mr. Romano, and it was not proposed that we get a block wall. In fact, you'll find out in the future what was proposed, because we are not going to sit quietly. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other members of the public regarding item 19? All right, I will close public comments. Any comments from council members regarding this item? Seeing none, I have 2 resolutions that will require separate votes. A resolution approving that the following subsequent project is within the scope of the Tivoli Specific Plan Final Environmental Impact Report, SCH 20050722125, development agreement by and between the City of Modesto and Dasco Olivewood LLC regarding area plan number 6 of the Tivoli Specific Plan. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Ricky. Second by anyone?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Bavaro. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Council-
Resolution.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwollen.
Aye, so it carries 7-0. Next is a motion introducing and waiving the first reading of an ordinance approving a development agreement by and between the City of Modesto and Dasco Olivewood LLC regarding Area Plan Number 6 of the Tivoli Specific Plan. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Ricky. I'll second it, and will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwollen.
Aye, so it carries unanimously. All right, item 20. Will Councilmember Alvarez be present for this item? All right.
You step out.
Can we take a 3-minute break?
Yes, let's take a 5-minute break, 7:35. Please return. All right, we will begin again with item 20, a hearing to consider a relocation request of CR&D Incorporated from 439 Mays Boulevard to 1313 McHenry Avenue, and we will have a staff report.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. And so we are here speaking about the business modification request for CR&D. So CR&D, otherwise known as Modesto Cannabis Collective, is a dispensary which is currently located at 439 Mays Boulevard. On July 2024, we received an application from the operators requesting to relocate the business to 1313 McHenry Avenue. And here on the maps above, you can see the current location on Mays Boulevard and the proposed new location on 1313 McHenry Avenue. So in order to relocate a dispensary, we have to go through a series of reviews. So first, the business makes the request and they provide a narrative for the relocation. They also ensure that we have the updated security plan, they have site control, and all of our payment of our cannabis permit is paid for. We also now have our cannabis consultant, HDL, review the security plan for compliance. We have our planning team ensure that they review zoning and the proximity to sensitive uses. Our admin staff reviews the reason for the change and performs a site visit. And then finance confirms whether taxes and fees are current. So the reason the 1313 facility, or the reason the dispensary would like to move, is because the facility at 1313 McHenry Avenue is larger and a more centralized location with modern amenities. We reviewed the security plan and floor plans, and they found to be compliant with all of our regulatory requirements, which does include the motion-activated LED lighting, cement crash post, continuous video surveillance, and then on-site security. We did do a site visit in March of this year and found no sign of unpermitted cannabis activity. We confirmed the site control through the 2-year period of time, and the retail business is current on all their city taxes and fees. So for zoning requirements, the proposed site is within the mixed-use pedestrian zone, which allows for general C2 uses, and so dispensaries are allowed in that zoning. And then for proximity requirements, they are required to be located a minimum distance away from certain land uses. So at least 200 feet away from a park or library, at least 600 feet away from a school, childcare center, or youth center, and at least 100 feet away from any residential residence. For context, this is a map of all of the current dispensaries within Modesto. As you can see, the one that is outlined in red is the proposed move over to 1313 McHenry Avenue. When we've reviewed all the current proximity review, we ensured that the dispensary itself had the appropriate distance away from the school, the daycare and youth center, the park, the library, and then the one issue that we were looking at is in regards to residential. And so residential is required to be at least 100 feet away, and there is a property at 1312 Alma Avenue, which is only 36 feet away. So pursuant to our municipal code, the proximity requirements may be waived by the council when an applicant can show an actual impassable physical separation between the land use and the parcel. So the applicant did submit a letter of justification for the waiver of the residential proximity due to being separated by 2 fences in the form of a primary 7-foot wrought iron fence. And the properties are also separated by a 25-foot, there we go, wide alleyway, which the fence itself contains an emergency access gate that would remain closed during all hours except for emergency access. So at the committee, this relocation request was presented to the Cannabis Program and Permit Committee on April 28th, and the committee recommended to forward the item to council for approval. And so with that, I do have a recommendation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Council members, if you have any questions of staff, I see Council Member Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Jessica, behind that property is I think it's a storm drain. That's fenced off, and is that owned by the city or is that owned by that property owner?
So I'd have to look at what you're referring to. There is an alleyway within there, but
Right.
there is a separation between the building and the fence itself that is owned by the property owner. So there's two different
Okay,
types of
so
things.
there's right behind the alley, you have the property we're talking about, the alley, and then right behind that is a fenced area. It looks like a storm drain. And my concerns is that the weeds in that storm drain are only 5 feet, 6 feet. It never gets taken care of. And it is a fire hazard. And I would just, if it's city property, we need to maintain it, or if it is property of the property owner, I think we need to make a recommendation that they, cut the weeds down on a regular basis.
Great, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a reason why the staff is wanting to have now 5 dispensaries within a mile and a half of each other on McHenry?
So what staff does is staff set together the application and criteria for relocation. And so once we have a complete application that actually passes all of that criteria, we bring the completed application forward to then committee and council for approval. So in this case, they met all the application requirements, and it's up to the committee and council to make that decision.
So that we don't have in the ordinance, they have a dispensary just southeast on McHenry within, I want to say maybe a block and a half. There's nothing in our ordinance. They could be next to each other and that would be
We have
okay.
nothing in our municipal code that speaks about proximity to another dispensary.
Thank
We
you.
do not. You're welcome.
Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Jessica, was this a purchase? Did the one from Mays, the gal from Mays, did she purchase that property or she's leasing that property? And maybe you mentioned it and I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
So what we did is we confirmed site control of the property over at 1313 McHenry Avenue. And so they have the site control for a 2-year period of time. And I believe it's a lease on the property, not
Okay.
ownership, but I'd have to confirm.
Okay, and then, of course, Pheno's, which is somewhat across the street, is a setback facility, and then the old Medallion on McHenry across from Pet Boys, something of that nature, is also a setback, correct?
So Pheno's
Off the
is.
road. Go ahead.
Yes, they are both off the road. Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions from council members? Seeing none, I'll now open this up to the public, a public hearing. Any members of the public that would like to come forward and speak regarding item 20? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Any comments from council members? Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. I will be voting no on this item. Having 5 dispensaries within that short period, it's 4. It's 4 plus the one is 5. So it'd be a total of 5. So out of 8 dispensaries, 5 of them now, if this is approved, will be on McHenry Avenue. I don't think, personally, I do not accept that. I don't accept 4 being that close, let alone 5, so I will be voting no. Plus, next to this proposed site for dispensary, just on the north side is a smoke shop directly next door to them. And then we're talking about bringing a different look to downtown, to McHenry Avenue. This is not the look that I would accept, so I will be voting no.
All right, any other comments from council members regarding item 20? Councilmember Scooty Brayton.
I'm sorry if I may ask a question versus a comment. This was discussed at committee. Can you share some insight as to what was discussed on the relocation and by the committee members or by the public during that committee meeting?
So at this time, at the meeting that we had for at the committee, there were no members of the public who spoke on this item. And I don't believe that there was any back and forth discussion at the committee level on this either.
So it comes for the unanimous recommendation from the committee?
It does.
Thank you.
This was the previous Medallion site, correct?
Correct.
It's already been, all right, a dispensary, yes. All right, thank you for that clarification. Councilmember Ricky.
I just want to say that while I agree with Councilmember Bavaro's sentiments here, one upside of having a dispensary in that location is it does offer 24-hour security in an area where we have concentrated unhoused, in that region on a constant basis. And having that 24-hour security will make that neighborhood immediately safer.
All right, thank you. Any other comments from council members regarding this? Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Yes, I stand corrected. Councilman Williams corrected me. It's actually 4 dispensaries, not 5, but nevertheless, we're going to have 50% of our dispensaries in a short distance on McHenry Avenue, and then we have a smoke shop directly north of this proposed site. This is unacceptable to me. I vision a different McHenry, and so again, I will be voting no. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, you're welcome. Any other comments from council members? Seeing none, I have a resolution approving the relocation request of CR&D Incorporated from 439 Mays Boulevard to 1313 McHenry Avenue with the granting of a residential proximity waiver. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Wright.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Ricky. And will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro?
No.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen?
Aye. So it carries 5-1 with 1 recusal. Thank you, Diane, for helping me. All right, next is item 21, a hearing to consider a relocation request of McHenry Business Services LLC from 500 East Glen Avenue to 1300 North Carpenter Road, Suite E and F.
Okay, thank you, Mayor City Council. So McHenry Business Services, otherwise known as Herbology, formerly Planet 8, is a commercial cannabis micro business which is currently located at 500 East Glen Avenue. In February of this year, we received an application from the operators requesting to relocate the current business to 1300 North Carpenter Road, Suites E and F. So above are the maps of where the current location is over on Glen Avenue, as well as the proposed new location at 1300 North Carpenter. As the previous relocation, we do review it extensively regarding why we're moving, the security plan, the site plan, as well as the zoning, and then perform our initial visit, and then have finance review to ensure all of the taxes and fees are current. So the reasoning that they proposed was the safety and accessibility enhancements for their customers in the community. The security and floor plan were reviewed by both staff and our consultant and were found in compliance with our regulatory requirements as well as the state ones. Again, this includes LED lighting, crash posts or bollards, continuous video surveillance, as well as 24-hour security. Staff visited the site in March of this year and found no sign of unpermitted commercial cannabis activity. We've confirmed the site control for the 2-year period of time, and the micro business is current on all city taxes and fees. So within the zoning requirements, the proposed site is with an M1 zone, and that is allowable for this type of use. And again, for proximity requirements, we have to at least be 200 feet away from a park or library, at least 600 feet from a school or childcare or youth center, and then at least 100 feet from residential. Here is the area map showing the 8 licensed cannabis retail dispensaries within the city, and the area that we're talking about today, or the move, is highlighted or outlined in red. In regards to proximity, you can see that the proposed site meets all the proximity requirements, being at least the amounts that's designated within the city municipal code. So the relocation request was presented to the Cannabis Program and Permit Review Committee on April 28th, and the committee recommended forwarding the item for council for approval. So I do have a staff recommendation, but with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, does council have any questions of staff? Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Jessica, so that's a strip mall behind Chevron then?
Correct.
And does it indicate which unit they're trying to occupy?
It's Suites E and F.
Suite E and F?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions from council members? Seeing none, I'll now open the public hearing. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak regarding item 21? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Any comments from council members? All right. Do I have a motion for a resolution approving the relocation request of McHenry Business Services LLC from 500 East Glen Avenue to 1300 North Carpenter Road, Suite E and F?
Move to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Ricky.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Swallen.
Aye. So the motion carries 6-0 with one recusal. Thank you. Are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, I'm calling this meeting of the City Council to be adjourned.